Taiwan is not only a important partner in trade. The number one reason I believe is democracy. This is a place that's worth protecting and to ensure that it remains a democratic state, and I can use the word democratic country.
Previously here on the channel, we've talked about how safe and strong Taiwan is, but what can we do to maybe prevent all of this from happening in the first place? And what should normal civilians like me, other foreigners, and also Taiwanese people think about, worry about, and how does the situation actually look like today? Earlier we mentioned that the safety of Taiwan depends on Xi Jinping.
The mind of the Xi Jinping.
The mind of Xi Jinping. Is there still anything that Taiwan or the rest of the world can do to maintain the peace, or are we helpless in determining our own fate?
I think it should be said that the risk to Taiwan is because of the mind of Xi Jinping. That a more competent leader who has a broader perspective and long-term thinking wouldn't even be considering military action against Taiwan. So I don't think it's fair to say that the safety of Taiwan, because even though Xi Jinping might be a lunatic and go crazy and try to attack Taiwan, I think the safety of Taiwan really lies in Taiwan's defense forces and its partnerships with other powerful countries like the US and Japan, Australia.
Yeah, that is true. That is absolutely true. Taiwan can hold out for a while, but to totally eliminate Chinese ability to further destroy Taiwan, I don't think they can take over per se, but it will require coalition action. You want to attack Taiwan, it's not so easy because Taiwan Strait, it's not like Ukraine or just walk across, drive across.
Yeah.
Taiwan Strait is the perfect kill zone. If Taiwan declares that area, or China declares that area to be no-fly zone, no sail zone, everything going there will be considered hostile. Taiwan missiles and aircraft and ships should just launch stuff into it. Over Taiwan Strait, there's nowhere to hide. There's no tree, no hill. Every ship have to go through every airplane can be detected. Yeah. When we fight, the identification friend and foe is such a difficult issue. And places the enemy can hide, either mountain, hills, buildings, there's none of that. They can't hide. And they have to get here. How do you get here when you can't hide? When we look at that, then you understand how difficult it is for China to try to conduct military action against Taiwan, because they have to survive not only the mother nature, the rough waters of Taiwan Strait, but also all the weapons going to be thrown at them, because nowadays the weapons are active.
Right.
You just launch into it. They're going to find a target, the AMRAAM, the Xiongfeng missiles. It opens the eye, wherever it sits, it's going to kill it. So
it's like automatic, like autopilot on the missile.
Yeah, they have.
Once it opens the eyes, if there's something out there, it's going to kill it. They basically fly over Taiwan under the protection of Taiwan surface-to-air missiles, and they just launch into Taiwan Strait's airspace. Ships just launch into it, and it's going to kill everything. So it's not so easy for China to conduct military action. No matter what pro-China media says, how many ships, how many airplanes and all that, it's going to be a tough one.
So they can try and attempt to prep the battlefield through a missile strike, which would be at best 600 missiles. At best, that would be the perfect.
If they would decide, okay, we're gonna attack Taiwan as soon as possible, is that how it would start, or what would be the first thing that we would see?
We should expect cyber. Try to basically collapse your infrastructure, banking, military communication, civilian communication, cyber, then missile and rocket, the unguided rockets. Once again, like I said, they can't make enough holes to make Taiwan surrender, no matter what people said. Communist agents, there are a lot of them in Taiwan already, and I suspect the National Security Bureau also are tracking many of them. They probably leave them alone to make sure the net gets, they can track more.
Well, one potential issue, I think this is probably a much bigger issue than people realize, is the corruption within the PLA and how that can affect just simple things like maintenance. We talked about these launcher trucks. If just, an O-ring, the pneumatic system of that truck doesn't work, that missile's not being fired. So a simple, small, cheap part can stop a missile.
Yeah. And that's something very few people even looked at closely. I mean, everybody knows corruption happens because it's within their culture. Everybody want to take a little bit, right? So how that affects combat capability is something that I'm not sure anybody have a good grasp of, even the Chinese leaders. I don't know about China right now.
Yeah.
China is rich, okay? So a long time ago when I was visiting Chinese forces often, this is funny. I went to a military base and Air Force base.
Okay.
And had lunch, and the base commander sat next to me since I spoke Chinese and he doesn't speak English, so he couldn't talk to the rest of the American delegation.
Right.
So he made sure I sat next to him so we can have conversation. He was very proud in pointing out everything we ate on that table, chicken, pig, vegetable, was homegrown on his base by his people. And I'm thinking, well, that's good. They're not training how to fight, but they're training how to farm.
Great
But
farmers.
that's something he was very proud of because he wasn't getting enough money for food for his troops, so he had to use it. I don't think that situation exists now because China is rich now. This is in the 90s. If that's still going on, he might be selling those downtown and making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now he got money for food and buy parts. Maybe he still got his soldiers growing that stuff and sell it out. Anyways, I don't know that for a fact. Sorry. I want to make sure I clarify what I know and what I don't know.
I also wanted to ask about like Taiwan's relationship with the rest of the world, basically, because a lot of media is also saying like without TSMC, then we wouldn't have this situation, and it's mainly because of this one company that we have the support from the US and that we have the support from the rest of the world. With that in mind, I'm reading news articles saying that TSMC is starting up factories both in the US and now latest in Germany, in Europe as well.
Yeah.
I read those news together and I'm thinking that it's just a matter of time before Taiwan loses the TSMC monopoly, and then it's like game over.
That's not true, you know? What's been built in the United States, Germany, that's already existing in Japan and China are manufacturing. Manufacturing what? The stuff that's designed in Taiwan. The brain trust of TSMC is in Hsinchu. The material, the equipment, the things that allow them to design the latest generation, the smallest generation of chips in Hsinchu, that has not been exported. The only thing that's been built outside our production facility to enable supply chain, you know, Detroit almost went out of business because the cars couldn't get chips. BMW and all those guys.
There's no risk for like the design leaks or anything. Similar as like when you said there was it a helicopter and you had to change all the codes. I expect it must be a lot easier to infiltrate like a civilian manufacturing plant.
The design leaks is one thing, but having the right type of equipment to actually manufacture that chip is another thing.
Yeah, designing of the manufacturing equipment is also here.
The U.S. was very interested in defending Taiwan before TSMC was a world leader in microchips. So although it's a great benefit to Taiwan, it's not the only reason that the U.S. is interested. Although it is a big reason why the entire world is very interested in peace maintaining in Taiwan and around the Taiwan Strait.
The impact on the global economy is tremendous. Most people don't know this, but Taiwan, 23 million people, Taiwan is United States' 8th largest trading partner in 2022. We do more business with Taiwan than countries like Brazil, Italy. Taiwan is a huge trading partner with the United States. And Taiwan, per capita-wise, also one of the largest consumer of a type of U.S. agriculture goods and things. So Taiwan is not only a important partner in trade. The number one reason I believe is democracy. We cannot allow Taiwan to fall under communism because, after all, if you look at Taiwan is a small Americana. Why do I say that? 110 vote. Everybody else used 220, right? After World War II, General MacArthur was helping Taiwan build up the government, and eventually this democracy took hold. It was not easy. Peaceful transition of power. It's rare. If you look at Asia, most countries, when they transition power, some people die. You know, the oppositions try to kill each other, and Taiwan has adopted this type of democracy very well. So it's worth protecting, and I suspect this is something most decision-making, most policy-making in the United States have decided this is a place that's worth protecting and to ensure that it remains a democratic state, and I can use the word democratic country.
It's a very strategic location. So much of the world trade goes through the Taiwan Strait. Almost all of the trade going through Japan and South Korea, and a lot of even China's trade is coming in and out of the Taiwan Strait.
Yeah, Japan and Korea's energy.
Yeah.
They don't have oil. Go right past Taiwan.
Yeah.
So if China controls Taiwan, they're going to be subject to serious blackmail.
You know, we talked briefly about sanctions, watching news about economic news coming out of, Shanghai and Hong Kong and how it just seems to be crashing down quickly, that the real estate bubble is blowing up, it's popping, that stocks are down. I think Hong Kong stocks have lost like 30 years of growth in the past 2 months. Is a conflict something that you think that China can even afford to do, knowing that they'd be sanctioned in the attempt?
That's what I worry about. Xi Jinping wouldn't consider that.
Okay.
If he wants to accomplish his emperor dream and he thinks there's an opportunity to do so, like Taiwan becomes weak or U.S.-Taiwan relationship gets affected by a new president, then it gives him the incentive to take action now because he might not have another chance. So if there's any indication that especially U.S.-Taiwan relationship on a defense side that is weakened, or if there is going to be indecisiveness in coming to help Taiwan, then I think Xi will take action because, like I said, it's now or never. Okay, I guess he's watching closely the U.S. election, and I would not be surprised if the plans have been drawn out already. Under certain conditions, if he feels the United States going to hesitate in responding to a Chinese invasion of Taiwan, then he would do it. He would do it because, like I said, his emperor dream, will make him want to grab the opportunity.
Just deal with the consequences on another day.
On another day, because China can starve itself, and he had.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if people starve. And
No.
they have done this cultural revolution, kill all the sparrows, right? And they have gone through these type of things, and people tighten up the belt.
How about like starving Taiwan? Because that's also something that you often read, that there would be like economic warfare and
blockade.
like blockade and
Not
stop
gonna
all
work.
export.
When was blockade ever worked? I think you said in before, blockade is an act of war. Once again, like we said, just like the attack in Jimen Maju, it gives coalition forces opportunity to forward deploy.
Yeah.
The dream's over.
Yeah. It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late. If they don't do it quickly and win quickly, they can win. Did I paint another grim picture?
Yeah, no, I'm starting to regret this recording right now.
I agree with you that history has shown that the CCP is very willing to starve its people. However, I'm curious about the current Chinese generations here. They grew up in affluence. Meanwhile, those people who starved during the Cultural Revolution, they grew up in a time of conflict and war and starvation. It was nothing new to them.
Excellent point.
But famine here would be very new to all the young Chinese now. So I'm not sure how receptive they would actually be.
That's an excellent point. That could even be the downfall of the Communist Party.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right. The support of Communist Party might even be degraded to the point where they fail. I agree with you on that one.
The dream is over.
the dream is the not only the emperor dreams over, the Communist Party's dreams over.
Yeah.
If that happens, I think that is a real threat.
Yeah.
It's a real threat. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that a lot.
My last question here, actually, that I prepared. In Sweden, for example, even now, we have like precautions for maybe future Russian invasion. We have the mindset of we should stock up on 3 weeks worth of food and water, and we should have these electric generators in case there's no power. What can Taiwanese people do? Is there anything that the average civilian should do now? Or maybe, let's say, if things escalates and we're starting to see some movements, what would be the first thing that average Taiwanese should be aware of or do?
What you're seeing is more emphasis on civil defense. More and more people are more interested in what they can contribute in civil defense without joining the military.
Right.
You've heard of the Black Bear Academy. Teaches civilian people how to conduct civil defense, like emergency first aid. Bomb, missile hit, somebody got hurt. The militaries are responding. The police are busy directing traffic. What can you do as an individual? You can help stop the bleeding, emergency first aid. You can help direct traffic. What you can also do is how to identify fifth element, help protect those water treatment plants or bridges from these people. Black Bear Academy teaches this. I attended Black Bear Academy. I went there 3 times, bringing different U.S. delegation to get a better understanding, because will to fight is critical. Taiwan's will to defend itself is critical, whether other country will come help Taiwan. If you don't help yourself, nobody will come. Ukrainians are helping themselves. Everybody's donating stuff. Civil defense training is an indication of will to fight. They might not want to sign up for 3 years or whatever of military service, but gosh darn it, when time comes, they want to contribute to the defense of the country. So what people in Taiwan can do right now certainly is to obtain some of this civil defense training so they can contribute in the national defense, and also conserve. Don't waste national resources, and making sure that the country remains vigilant and able to respond to an attack.
I think that having a stockpile of food and water is always a good idea, no matter who you are. This is a country that can experience earthquakes and typhoons. You want to be prepared, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Like you said, attending the Black Bear Academy, the Kuma Academy, just the ability to organize is head and shoulders a next level ability compared to just complete chaos during an emergency. So just a tiny bit of training, a little bit of training is vastly better than zero training. So I think Taiwan's government is taking appropriate steps.
The most important thing you can do for yourself is make sure your country, your representative here understand that you're here and how to get hold of you. United States Department of State have a program called the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. You filled out the information, your phone number, and so that when there's something, they know where you're at. Like I use that not only for my time in Taiwan, but when I traveled to Singapore just now, I filled out, I'm going to be in Singapore this time and where I am. So just in case, who knows, something happened in Singapore, and they notify me.
For those Swedes watching, Utrikesdepartementet, that's where you go to sign up on the list.
There we go. See, you have the same system. Exactly.
Okay, of course.
It's something that just to protect yourself so that you can get warnings.
That was all the questions for this video. If you want to hear even more about this discussion, then me and Topher have actually already released a video where we are talking about this in the member section of this channel. So if you want to hear a little bit more in-depth analysis, Topher's specific comparison between what he thought before this discussion with Tony and how his mindset and thoughts have changed after listening to Tony here, please do consider becoming a member. You have already access to that video right now if you do decide to sign up. And by doing so, you also help supporting this channel and make it possible for me to continue making videos about Taiwan every single week. 100% of that income I get from the membership, or maybe the super thanks down in the comments, will of course go 100% straight to making more videos about Taiwan. But regardless, thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Lukas. It starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Please do both, and see you all in the next one.